Hi.
We've been cruising with Royal Caribbean since February 19th, 1980. We started out like normal cruisers and went on another cruise a couple of years later, and it wasn't on a Royal Caribbean ship. It was on the Big Red Boat. The Big Red Boat pretty much served the Disney company, and used to take people on like a 4-day cruise and 2 days at Disney World, and then back to Cape Canaveral or Port Canaveral. And we found that was not satisfying, and we kind of gave up cruising. And
We did a lot of other vacations,
yeah,
and then we started watching The Love Boat on television. And that just kind of piqued our interest in trying to go on a cruise again. So we got together with a bunch of our neighbors, and we went on the Nordic Prince
right,
in 1980,
yeah,
and then in 2004,
right.
we went on
The Radiance.
Radiance of the Seas with a bunch of our neighbors.
Which were the children of the original group that we went with. Unfortunately, a lot of our original group aren't around anymore, but they're well remembered, and they love cruising too. Now their kids love it. So
Yeah, we got the kids hooked, and we've been on multiple cruises with that group. But in between, we've been racking up some points in the Crown and Anchor Society.
yeah, so we're Diamond Plus and knocking on the door of Pinnacle. That's why our first part of our little podcast will be about our quest for Pinnacle. We'll be cruising in 29 days, is it?
Yeah,
29 days.
if all goes well, we'll be going to Alaska.
Gonna be on the Odyssey, is it? No.
The Ovation.
The Ovation. These old boats all got me confused.
Yeah,
Yes.
we have a number of cruises
Yeah.
booked, and they're all O ships.
They're all O ships till the end of the year.
We've got the Ovation, we got the Oasis, we got the Odyssey, we've got the Oasis, and I think by the time we get through the first cruise we go on in 2022,
All right.
we should be getting that magical upgrade to Pinnacle.
But the good news is we won't give up our podcast because we made Pinnacle. We're gonna keep going, and we're gonna mainly do a lot of news and information and interviews with people that work for Royal Caribbean. I know there's been a few that I've talked to that have struck a lot of interest in doing it, including if any of you have visited the Schooner Bar, Matt Yee, who happens to be a good friend of Noreen and mine for some time now. Met him years ago on a cruise, and
Yeah, 2004.
yeah, and we
A lot of years
became
ago.
really, really good friends with him. In fact, we visited him at his home in Hawaii, and
We've been on a lot of cruises.
a lot
that
of
he was
cruises
on.
with him. Yeah. So he
He's a
had
lot of fun.
dinner with
yeah.
us a number of times. And,
He's a performer
yeah,
on Royal Caribbean and does a really great variety of shows. He's funny. He's very, very talented, and we really enjoy his company.
So we got cruising, and I was in the Navy for 6 years, and 4 years before that I was a Sea Scout. So the water's always been in my heart. Salt runs through my blood, I always say. But I think my wife caught the bug too, because she loves cruising too now. Loves being at sea, loves that feel of being on the ocean.
Yeah, rocking to sleep and all the activities. Royal Caribbean has so many different types of entertainment that you can never get bored. We have never been on a cruise where we have been able to do absolutely everything that Royal Caribbean offers. It's amazing how many different trivia games and contests and theater productions and ice skating shows and all kinds of different activities, not to mention the 2 private islands. So there's never enough time to do everything you want to do, and so we just keep going back.
Yes, and unfortunately, during the pandemic, we had about 20 cruises canceled.
Yeah, we had a lot of cruises canceled,
We had a
and
whole
we've got a
bunch
whole bunch more booked
Yeah,
because we have a lot of future cruise credits.
yeah, so,
So we're looking forward to this trip to Alaska, and we're happy that everything got straightened out with the Canadians closing all the ports.
Yeah.
But I just read today that the Prime Minister of Canada is going to open the ports up on November 1st.
oh, rather than February, huh?
Yeah, they're not going to wait till February of 22. They're going to open up the ports in November, and you know it's not a really great time for cruising to Alaska. So I don't even know how many cruise ships will actually go there after November and after the ports are open. But I think they started to suffer some economic slowdowns, and they wanted to try and give back to their businesses and to their people what they could. But unfortunately, they've been a little slow to get people vaccinated and get things under control with the pandemic. So I think by the time November rolls around, I think they'll have the ability to welcome some tourists again at the cruise ports.
And Royal too is got lucky with both being able to go directly for now to Alaska from California
In Seattle.
and Seattle, from Seattle to what's the name of that login that
The Passenger Vessel Services Act.
right, yeah, and that's been
Yeah, it was
started for
preventing
now.
ships
Yeah.
that were registered from a foreign country to preventing them from going to sail from a U.S. port and return to a U.S. port unless they went to a foreign port. And so to cruise to Alaska, you would typically leave from Seattle and stop somewhere at some point in Vancouver or Victoria, British Columbia, and then return to the United States. But the senators from Alaska were very adamant about getting this bill passed, and they had a little trouble at first,
Right.
but they finally got it passed, and the president signed it into law. And now we'll wait and see, because there might be some changes again on July 18th from the
Right.
CDC. So we'll just
And
have to wait
Florida
and see
got
what
very
happens.
lucky, talk about the CDC, by winning the lawsuit, by saying, hey, we've got people starving here. We've got businesses that have been closed down for over a year and a half. And they're losing money, people are losing money, our public assistance roles are dying because we don't have the funds, even though a lot of that comes from the federal government. And it's costing the government more than it was, doing anything, and they proved from England, from China, from all the places that they were cruising already, that they were having very little trouble on cruise ships, and the CDC wanted to be adamant about a cruise ship being a super spreader, which is totally a lie. The precautions that they are taking are very, very strict, and I'm glad to see that. Because there are children on board that might be able to, that be probably carrying the COVID, or might be carrying the COVID, that might cause the pandemic to return. But luckily, most of the adults on board are going to be vaccinated. And if they're not, they're kind of put in another area and kept away from the people who are vaccinated. So,
And the rules are constantly changing, so.
and
By
now,
the time we go in August, it might be different again.
and yesterday, NCL, Norwegian Cruise Lines, filed suit against the state of Florida on their no vaccination law, that they don't, want people to be forced to show that they were vaccinated. And that's hurting some of the cruises too, because a lot of these cruise lines wanted to go vaccinated people only, and 95% vaccinated, and Florida made it very strict that they could not, do that and ask people if they were vaccinated or not. But it seems like they got around it some way, because everybody we talked to who have cruised so far, they were asked for that vaccination card somehow. Not at the port, but
No, in
beforehand.
advance, yeah. I believe they're asking in advance.
And they're verifying.
So I hope you like what you see, and
Yeah.
I hope you like listening to us talking about our experiences. I think what we're gonna do coming up is try and do a vlog at least once a week if we can, and bring you some reminiscing about some of the things that we have done in the past. And once we start cruising again, we'll be able to take some live video and show you some of the things that are happening right now.
Next week we have two friends that are going to be on Liberty, is it? Oops. Something went wrong. Anyhow,
Next week, our friends are gonna be on Freedom of the Seas.
yeah,
And we're gonna try and do a Zoom call with them and put it on our next vlog.
yeah. And so they can report some stuff going on.
Live and in person.
And
from
when we're
Freedom of the
at
Seas.
sea, we're going to try to at least every other day or so give a little tour of the ship and let you see what's going on. Hopefully most of you people out there have been sailing or ready to go. We know we miss it something awful, so.
So if you like what you see, we want you to make sure to subscribe.
Yeah.
And hit that notification bell so that you know when we have something else for you to watch.
Yeah.
So we want to thank you very much
Yeah.
for watching and putting up with us.
Yeah.
And Dennis has something he wants to say to you all.
Well, I want to say to you all, smooth sailing and happy traveling to you. Thank you.